we've all got a business Facebook page and we all have a personal Facebook page. And this agent said that she created a closed group Facebook page for her past clients. Wow. I mean, that is so focused with your past clients and they're interacting with each other. She can share a post once a week or whatever, good insights for her group. And it just keeps them there that they're all loving on her. And I just thought that was very powerful. So there you go. Anybody that arrived early.
That's awesome. We actually are starting a Facebook group with the mentees as we speak. So yeah, I don't know where we got that one from either, but that's so good. So yeah, people are having a hard time logging in still. KW leadership, KW. Anthony Davis, where's Mackenzie? Can you text Anthony Davis, please? Mackenzie? Yes. Awesome. Thank you. All right, you guys. I don't want to disrespect Michael, so I'm hoping we can all show our faces as well, because we do have a speaker, and I think it's important to all participate. So hey, Crystal, your hair looks pretty. Anyways, awesome. Hey, I've been on coaching calls lately with ball caps on and just get done working out, and as long as I'm participating, I think it's important. I know, I see, that's why I'm like, yeah, that's me, totally. Sometimes I'm like, it's 3 o'clock, I better get up and go shower. Just saying. You know. But anyways, I can't hear you, Michael, so I'm going to ask to unmute you. Awesome. Good. So, Michael, thank you so much for joining us. I do appreciate this a lot. You always come from contribution, and you never say no, which is, I like that a lot too. So that's really.
I say no to the unimportant things.
What was that?
I say no to the unimportant things. I don't say no to the important stuff.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I believe there is no introduction because everybody knows you, Michael. You are the one that everybody likes to hear from, I'll have to say. Yes, at least once a quarter. So I appreciate you coming on. And all due respect, because of time, I'm going to let you take it away, my friend.
Yeah, no worries. I appreciate that. And as people come in, that's totally cool. No worries on my end. I really, when Michele reached out to me about speaking with you all at your team meeting here, I want to make it about you. I could come in here and speak for 45 minutes straight and tell you all the things and stuff and tactics and tools. And you know what? Some of you would probably take and run with and do something with. And at the same time, I really want to make this an interaction. So if you're willing to participate with me today, great. If you're not, nobody's going to force you. You don't have to, because everybody's got their own stuff going on, and I totally respect that. And when Michele reached out, we were talking about mission, vision, all the things that keep us moving forward in the future. And to kind of preface this, to take you back a little ways, in 2015, my life changed dramatically. And some of you know this story, so I'll keep it somewhat brief, and I can always go deeper if you'd like. In 2015, my wife called me at 9:08 a.m. on a Friday during lead gen time, which she and I both knew was a no-no. And she had waited an hour because she knew it was a no-no. Although I wish she hadn't, because when she called me at 9:08, she was already 30 miles into the 40-mile drive or so to the hospital to give birth to our twin sons 3 months early. She called me and said, hey, I've been having these issues and I need to go to the hospital. I talked to a nurse. They said, come in. I said, okay, great. Where are you? I'll come pick you up. I'll come home and pick you up. She said, oh, no, I'm already almost there. I said, what? The office that I worked out of at that point was literally right down the street from the hospital. And we lived 40 miles or 40 minutes away or so. And so I jammed over there. I met her in the parking lot. I opened the door for her. I got her inside. I parked the car. And by the time I got back inside, the doctor was already telling me, you're having these babies. Realty. I love it, making prospecting calls. You're having these babies. And I'm standing there huffing and puffing from running back inside. And I go, okay. I mean, what does that even mean? They're not due for another, I don't know, like 14 weeks. He said, well, she's 9 centimeters dilated. She's going into labor right now. We looked at each other. We kind of exchanged that fear, that paralyzed fear look. And then it was instant action. It was, what do we have to do to make sure the babies are okay? What is the next step for us to make sure that those babies are going to be fine? Not even knowing if they would be. And he told us the next steps, and we elected to go with an emergency C-section to make sure that the babies were born and they were taken out and given the best care they could possibly get. So they had an 84% or better chance of surviving at that rate. Now, my point in telling you the story is a couple of reasons. Number one, do you think in that moment my mission was extremely clear? My mission was so clear. It was not, let me think about this, let me procrastinate, let me analyze this process for the next 3 days or 4 days or 5 hours. It was, let's go. Let's make sure that these babies come out and my wife stays safe so we can make sure our family is going to be okay and move forward. Now, I was freaked out of my mind. Has anybody ever felt so scared that they wanted to just curl up in a ball and go into a corner? I think
Oh, yeah.
all of us can say yes to that question, right? And that was one of the moments where I couldn't. And yet, we do that in our lives all the time. We don't physically curl up in a ball and go into a corner. We shut down. We go internal and we stop planning. We stop executing. We stop acting because something is not pulling us through that moment. And that's the whole point of my conversation today is what is that mission for you? Because here's the other side of that story that some of you know. I was in a self-sabotage pattern for about 5 years leading up to that point. So much so that I was confident of one of three things, at least one of three things. And I'm bearing my soul a little bit with you. I hope you don't mind. Number one, I was pretty confident I would be in jail anytime in the near future because of stupid choices made through personal things. I wasn't beating anybody. I wasn't stealing or anything like that. I was making bad choices with alcohol and driving. Okay, there you go. I was either going to be in jail. I was going to be divorced because I was not being a great husband. I was making bad personal choices, which was affecting our relationship. Or number three, I'd be dead. Now, I just had a massive paradigm shift in the moment of my boys being born 14 weeks early. And yet, less than 12 hours later, I was back into those self-defeating habits, those self-defeating routines. And again, my reason for sharing this with you is because even though that massive shift happened, it didn't cause me to stop the poor habits I had leading up to that point. That says something about me in the moment and the time of my life. I don't know what it is. I'm working through that. And at the same time, I think we all have something like that. Now, in the last 5.5 years, what has changed? I've gotten extremely clear on my mission. Now, I had someone send me an email this morning. He's a new member of our team. And on the first page of a packet I send out to everybody is 2 questions. What is your big purpose or your big why? And number 2, what is your goal to support that purpose? He wrote one word underneath his purpose or his big why. And I think a lot of us could guess what that is. Family. You want to know what my response to him was? That's cheap. That is absolutely cheap because you are not clear at all on why. All of our families are important to us. We do things that we wouldn't do otherwise because our families are that important to us. And at the same time, if you don't know exactly why they're important to you or exactly what you intend to accomplish with them or for them, in those moments where it's difficult, you're going to curl up. And also because they're going to give you an out. The people that love you the most also don't want to see you hurt. So when you commit to something, when you say you're going to do something, when you fail at something, they're going to give you an out because they don't want to see you hurt. And that's why part of the mission has to be about you and not just others. Do you see where I'm going with this? You can make your mission to make your family as whole and as amazing as possible. You can have a mission like mine that is to provide emotional, physical, and financial support for my family while leaving a legacy through my sons built on trust, hard work, open-mindedness, all sorts of things, which yes, is my mission statement for my family. And yet I know that even though they're only 30 feet away from me right now, if I come out of the office after this call and say, I don't feel like working the rest of the day, or I want to do this instead, they'd be like, that's okay. You work hard. You work hard. Take some time. I know they would do that because they love me and they want me to be okay. And they want me to be happy. So my mission on the other side of things has to be about me. How do I feel? And this is where I'm going to get a little bit deep on you. And it's actually skipping through the MVVVP, which if you don't have one, I think you need to build one for yourself. Mission, vision, value, beliefs, and perspectives. I'm going to skip to the values portion. How do you show up for yourself? I have the luxury of being coached directly by Rick Vandermeiden, who's an investor in a market center. He's a John Maxwell coach, travels all over the world right now. I think he's driving from Oregon to Wyoming to do a company event for somebody. And I love that. And I have the privilege of being coached by him personally. And he's working on me really, really hard on the character side of things, the values. What do you truly value? Because in those moments when it's easier to shut down, when it's easier to just not move forward, if you look internal and says, no, my word to myself is as important or more important than my word to anybody else. It's important to them too, although it's more important to me because that's who I am. I believe in character. I believe in integrity. I believe in having the values that make me show up as a good example for myself and for others. And that in the moment might be just enough to get you moving when your brain tells you it's okay. You don't need to. So my point is, what's important to you? The last 12 weeks, I think it was, or what, Michele mentioned it too. I don't know. I've lost track of time. I said it was September 7th this morning. I have no clue. I'm like, hey, welcome to what? I don't know, whatever. Let's just keep going. The last 12 or so weeks have been extremely difficult for many of us in one way or another. Whether that was outwardly expressed, internally felt, both, we've all adapted differently. And yet there are some that are coming through this right now. And there are some that are going to come through this in a better place than they were because they were willing to tap into the passion and the purpose behind the mission that they created for themselves. My mentor said something, another mentor of mine said something the other day. Said two things that I want to share with you. It's about perspective and it's about the willingness. And the perspective side is this. Some of us right now are complaining. Maybe not anybody on this call, though there's a lot of people out there complaining about what COVID has done to us, how it's made it harder for us. And you know what, though? I've got two 5-year-olds that are now 12 feet behind me, because I can hear them screaming and doing all their crazy stuff, that are probably going to remember these last 12 weeks as some of the best times of their lives.
Because their daddy's home. We got it, Michael.
More time together. More time to do the things that actually matter.
Yes.
And that goes back to what Patty said earlier, is having the willingness to understand that all work fills the time allotted or the time allowed. And I don't know about you, I was wasting a ton of time before COVID. Working 12 hours a day, 10 hours a day, and really only doing what I could have done in 4 to 6 because I felt the need to fill in the day. And now, because I want to spend more time, because I'm here and it's a little harder to work 12 hours a day with them right there, I'm going to squeeze more into it. And that will only last for so long unless, again, you have it attached to something that's driving you and pulling you to the future. So the question I have for everybody on this call, I mean, this could be the end of this and it won't be, is truly what is pulling you into the future, not the stick that's hitting you in the back when you need accountability. It's that what's truly pulling you towards your future. What do you want to do with it? And the willingness side I was mentioning just a moment ago is this. My mentor was talking about someone that really wants to fund a homeless shelter. And this person is well behind in their goals, and yet they keep moving forward, they keep grinding, they deal with whatever comes at them because they have such a burning passion to help those that are less fortunate or that need our help, that everything they do, every activity they perform is linked to something bigger. And that took me a long time to realize. If I've got this massive goal that's sitting out here, way out in the yonder, I'm old, way out yonder, it can get hazy, it can get fuzzy, can't it? There are times where you're like, well, I've got time to make it up. If I miss today, if I miss this week, it's no big deal. Or if I waste 6 of my 12 hours today, it's no big deal. I can make it up because it's so far off, I'll get there eventually. When it's powerful enough and it's clear enough, and then every single activity that you're doing right now links to it, that call you say you were going to make or you need to make, that text you should be sending, that breaking bad news to someone that you don't want to break bad news to, it becomes just a part of you moving towards that goal. Everything all of a sudden has a bigger purpose behind it. It's not just lead generation. It's not just lead follow-up. It's not just admin for my deals that I've got going. It's not just getting out of bed when I said I would get out of bed. Nope, I'm fired up. Let's do this. I got to make that call. Let's make that call. Because that is one step closer to the goal I've got for myself, if it's strong enough. So there's a story, there's some stuff. Thank you for allowing me to break down a little bit too. And if you want to go specific on this, here's how I would recommend you write this out. I referenced MVVBP. Some of you probably have one. Now here's the secret behind all this. These tools are fantastic, and the majority of us will build one out, put it in a folder, and never look at it again. Never look at it again. Don't even start the process if you're not committed to it. My coach told me not too long ago, he said, if you're not going to be doing it in 30 days, don't start it today. Diets, love, business, tools, don't start it. Now, the challenge is that when we start something new, we always think we're going to keep it forever. I want you to go introspective on this. You can write out the notes today, take a step back, put it down, come back to it tomorrow and say, do I truly want this? Because you don't need an MVVP in your business. You don't need one in your life to have a great business or have a great life. I just think it compiles those down into a nice, solid, succinct thing that you can look at every single day. If you want to, here are the steps I would encourage you to take. When you're writing out your mission, answer this one very specific question. What is it that I truly desire? What do I truly desire to see show up? What do I truly desire to build? What is that? Most of us don't know. That's okay. We all have to start somewhere. Question you answer for yourself when you're building out your vision is, what is my life, the lives around me, my community, whatever you're focused on for that mission, look like when the mission is accomplished? That's a huge question. That's really tapping into the why around the mission. So I'll give you an example. With my team, my mission statement is basically to create a culture of purposefulness and intentionality. So therefore, my partners can achieve their individual goals, allowing the team to achieve its collective goal. I've retooled that so many times after reading The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek, because it used to be a certain amount of transactions. It used to be all sorts of stuff. And that was so finite. And instead, it's more about creating something that allows all of us to grow, allow all of us to achieve our individual and collective goals together. And then the vision behind that is every single one of my partners is achieving their goals. Every single one of my partners is achieving the goals that they've got for themselves that put them into a bigger path of purpose for their businesses. And I'm not stupid. Not everybody will. I won't be in business with everybody I'm in business with today in 6 months or 12 months or 24 months. I get that. And I'm not going to stop at the purpose. So what does my community, the lives around me, or my life look like, or all of that look like when the mission is accomplished? Now, this next piece is where you can really tie it into how you speak with your potential clients and your clients, and that's the values portion. We've all done this. If you've taken Bold before, the previous Bold Classic, we've taken it and we took the, I think it was 20 or 50 cards, and it was, which values mean the most to you? What speaks to you internally? And so often, more often than not, it's going to be the integrity. It's going to be trustworthiness and those things. Good, good. What's important to you? And then how do you take those and communicate them over and over and over again with yourself and with your prospective clients? I don't love when I see taglines personally, and no offense to anybody that has this, because I've had it too. I don't love taglines that say, we deal in honesty, integrity, and respect. I don't think we need to say that in a tagline. I think we need to show it in our actions. It can be both though. So no offense again. You need to know what that is. You don't need to tell the outside world. The outside world will see it as they see you act. There's a saying that you may choose to write down or remember. Rarely trust a person's words. Actually, they say never. I don't like that word. Rarely trust a person's words. Sometimes trust their actions. Always trust their patterns. Rarely their words, sometimes their actions, always their patterns. Somebody puts something in front of me that says, I over communicate and I work harder than anybody else. I say, yeah, well, I'll believe it when I see it. Don't you say that to yourself too? I'll believe it when I see it. So my job is to understand what's truly going to motivate me to move. What's going to allow me to, I pulled this off the wall just a minute ago, because when you were talking earlier, is you can see that it's my boy and myself sitting on top of a rock with Half Dome behind us. This is about a week and a half ago. Why I chose to show that to you is because in that moment, I remember feeling zero guilt. I remember feeling complete. That I had my son, one of my two sons, sitting in my lap in my favorite place on earth. And because that's the life I'm choosing to live, and it's the life I'm also choosing to coach to for other people. I want people to have that moment guilt-free. And when I talked to my team about the guilt-free portion of it, it was because I worked my tail off the 6 days prior to this. Having the purpose, having the mission, having the vision to make sure that those 5 and 6 days were taken care of, because I committed to having a great business. I committed to supporting other people and helping other people realize their goals through real estate. So I could unplug completely and have that moment and not feel any guilt around it. I don't know about you. Have you ever taken a night off or a vacation or even just a weekend and felt guilty about it? Yeah, I know, all of us have. The first vacation I took in multiple years was actually a 3-day kayaking trip with Cody Gibson. And so that's not really a vacation. That's not with that guy. It's hard. And it was great. It was fun. And I remember having a panic attack the first day because it was the first time in years I had not had my phone on me. It was the first time in years I had actually unplugged, and I felt guilty. I don't know why. I don't think I should have. I felt guilty though. What I realized moving forward was if I actually do what I say I'm going to do, if I'm following the plan and the guidelines I've created for myself based on a purpose and a plan, I don't need to feel that guilt. I don't need to. And I don't think you should either. That goes back to, though, is my mission clear enough? Is my vision strong enough? And am I going to do the work to allow me to have those moments? Now, by the way, I was back at work the next morning because I'm not ready to take big vacations this year. Not with what's going on in our world. Not ready yet. Now, values. What truly motivates you from within? Beliefs. What do you believe about you? This is the question to ask yourself. What do I believe about me? And then what do I believe about what this could be? Me, then could be. So we've got mission. What do I desire? Vision. What does it look like when it's accomplished? Values. How am I showing up to the world through my actions? Belief. What do I believe about me? And what do I believe about could be? And then P, the perspective. P and B, I know it's a lot of letters, are really similar. Although, in my opinion, the best question to ask myself when I go to perspective is, how do I see the world through this lens? Not what do I want the world to look like, what do I see it as through this lens and with the possible potential? Now, I want you to just think about this for a second. If you take a step back and you look at these 5 letters and these definitions afterwards, or these thoughts behind them, and you had those in front of you when you're talking to a client on the phone, if you had those in front of you when you're sitting down with a buyer or seller, if you had these in front of you when you're doing admin or when you're thinking about planning vacation or whatever, and all those things are guiding you through every action you're taking throughout the day, do you think you're going to operate at a little bit higher level? Is that going to raise your thinking and raise your mentality to a place where, no, I'm not going to deal with that? And that's why I made the comment to Michele. I say yes to the important stuff. I'm constantly coaching people to say, what purpose did that serve? On Thursday of last week, I walked into my office in Folsom. I was on my phone doing some work, and I had an appointment with this person, I don't know, 12 minutes later. And about 10 minutes before our appointment's supposed to start with another person, he stands up and he's just kind of looking at me. He's got his clipboard in his hand, he's looking at me, and I kind of look up from my phone and I go, I don't know what you're waiting for. I work right up to my next appointment. And it was my way of being kind of a passive aggressive jerk, and also just to keep going about my business. I admit, because that's how most of us operate. Okay, it's 10 minutes between now and my next thing. I'll just waste the next 10 minutes. Now, if you waste 10 minutes a day, does that kill you? That's 50 minutes a week. That's an hour a week. That's 52 hours a year. Is that right? No, it's 365 hours. No, yeah, I was right. It's 52 hours a year. If you work 8 hours a day, how many days is that? 6. You've just wasted 6 full days in your year by spending 10 minutes in between things that you didn't need to waste. Gene Rivers did a equation with us, a formula with us. I can't remember. I think it was at ALC or something like that years ago. He said, if you miss 1 day of lead generation, which for most of us should be 2 to 3 hours, if not more at this point, it's not going to kill your business. It's when you create a habit around wasting or missing 1 day of lead generation per week, which turns into 52 days missed, which divided by 5 days, that's 10 weeks of lead generation missed in a year. 10 weeks of lost opportunity, 10 weeks of money that you have sent to somebody else because you chose not to stay in touch with your database or prospect to expires or whatever. And then the question he follows that up with that I love the most is, wouldn't you love to have all the money from that 10 weeks and actually take 10 weeks off at the end of the year? Yeah, I would. Or keep working and put more money towards the vision that you've got for yourself. So again, my point is, in that 10 minutes with my partner, Cliff, it was, this next 10 minutes are important because every single one of those minutes is a link in the chain that attaches to a bigger goal that's a month away, 3 months away, 6 months away, 12 months away, or 5 years away. Now, I've done enough preaching. I don't usually like to do it that way. And I hit a little streak there. So I do want to open this up. As I mentioned in the beginning, I want to open this up to questions about whatever you want to know, whatever you feel impelled, propelled, I can't even think of words today, to ask or say, because I'm passionate about this, as you can tell. It's making my tongue twist. What is it that you are experiencing in your world right now that you are fighting through, struggling through, succeeding through, or that you'd like to know, or that we can collaborate around so we can make this a benefit to everybody on this call? Don't worry, I've got more notes. I just don't want to keep talking.
Michael, sir,
Yes, sir.
do you have any tips for, I mean, you did share a bunch of tips already, of course, about what I'm going to ask, but one of the biggest things I struggle with is I like to help people, right? And I like to do things to, if I can help someone ask a question, I usually say yes, and I'm getting better at saying no. I'm getting better. At the same time, what's a tip or a trick that we can do when that moment happens so we remember? Like have it on my phone, maybe have my mission or something near me, like just a few tips that you could give us, because it happens to me a lot.
Yeah, let me go back to the first thing you said there about wanting to help people. Me too.
Yeah.
I think I just posted a video earlier today on Facebook because my team had a record-breaking month. It was, we helped 36 families last month buy or sell a home, and that's fantastic. It's a record-breaking month for us. And in the video and in the text, I posted in there also, I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied because not everybody on my team achieved their goals last month. I'm going to help that and tell that I'm not satisfied. And that kind of has a similar, I think it's in line with what you're saying there, Eli, because that pulls me to do things in the moment that perhaps I shouldn't. We both want to help people. I think everybody on this call wants to help people. So here are my tips and tactics for that. Number one, put up boundaries. Brene Brown is a great person to listen to or read when you want to hear about boundaries, because without the boundaries, people will push you. They will take advantage of you, not even maliciously, not even knowingly. They will just ask because you're willing to give, and then it's more, and then it's more, and then it's more. And there's the whole, analogy of you can't pour from an empty cup. If someone's taking more and more and more from you because you're allowing it to happen, there's another bold law. You train people or teach people the way to treat you, whatever. Point is, you can't pour from that cup unless you're constantly putting back into it, right? So here's how I specifically did that. When I realized that my lead generation needed to be 3 hours a day, and that was what was going to actually allow my family to build and live the life that they wanted to live and that I want to live with them, I had to go line up people as my sentries, if you will, my guards. I went to my team leader and I said, I'm in the office every day, you know that. And between 8 and 11, I am off limits. Unless this building is burning down around or someone needs medical attention that I can provide, do not bother me. Do not let anybody bother me. Now, I said it in a nice way. She's my team leader. She's my mentor. At the same time, it was, can you help me with this? And she said, yes. Then from that point forward, it was, if it was a text, if it was a call, if it was a person knocking on my door, it was, hey, I'm really sorry. Is it an emergency? No, I can talk to you at 11:01. Right now, I'm in my one thing because this is what's important to my family. Go away. Back to my business. Now, if I just, and I do say it just like that pretty much. So a few people probably didn't love me in my office. At 11:01, I was actively seeking them out. I was a heat-seeking missile for that person, so they knew that I was true to my word. I told you I would help you, I will, and yet in that moment, what was most important was this business. So at 11:01, I'm coming to find you. Again, text, call, email, face-to-face, whatever that needs to look like. So I can actually help you.
Yeah.
So boil that down for you, Eli. Put up the boundaries, let them know you want to help, although you can do it during a time that is conducive for you. And then of course, have your things in front of you that remind you, this person's important right now in the moment because it seems urgent. These people, these things, these goals are more important in the grander scheme. And while it would be okay if I got off over here, if I create a habit or routine around that, I am sacrificing what those people deserve. And I'm not okay with that.
Love it, man. I was thinking I would type something up and have it by my computer that says, I'm lead generating right now for Ella Rose. Or something, right?
Love that.
That specific purpose, because I have that problem and I don't want to have that problem anymore. So I'm going to try to find a solution for it. And I appreciate all that you're sharing, man.
Why am I doing this? And boundaries to others and other things. And Gary talks about in the one thing, or excuse me, in MREA and Shift especially is, you sweep for minds.
Yep.
Turn off your Facebook. Turn off all the crap that doesn't serve you any purpose in the moment, unless you're using it to lead generate. Get it out. Just stop. Your life and the world will keep moving for 2 hours if you don't respond to a comment on Facebook. I promise.
Yeah.
I promise.
So
and
true.
it will not burn to the ground in 2 hours. And if it does, and you'll know it, because they will be blowing you up to take care of it. It's those texts that are, hey, any news, or what's next on this, or hey, can I get this form? Sure, absolutely, when appropriate.
Right.
Right now, this is important. And by the way, I had to have this conversation with a partner. She was constantly having her door knocked on at the office. And so I said, first and foremost, you got to set the boundaries directly with the people. Go to them and let them know you care, and you need to be able to be focused on this during this time.
Yeah.
It didn't work, which, by the way, it doesn't always work. So then I was putting a sign on the door. And then it got to a point where I had her put caution tape on her door from 9 to 11 a.m.
That's awesome.
Do not enter. Do not enter.
Danger. Danger.
Yes. And it sounds comical. It sounds silly.
Yeah.
Although it's not.
Yeah.
Because that's so important.
Yeah.
So, and however you lead generate, whatever you do.
Love it, man.
Make it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And Eli, the question I have learned, because I'm like that too, right? And the question now, when anybody asks me anything, my brain, and it took me time to program my brain to say, is this serving my intended purpose?
Yeah.
So before I even answer, I ask myself, is it serving my intended purpose? And I found, which I'll dig up for you, there's a lot of other ways to say no without saying no.
Later or another time.
Yes, exactly. Of just kind of addressing it, because people want to be heard, right? And addressing their concern or addressing what they're asking. And we know 9 times out of 10, with most of our clients and most of the things people bring up to us, you leave it for a few hours, they actually figure it out on themselves. So you're also empowering them.
That's huge.
to figure it out, and then say, oh, you figured it out. Fantastic. Can I help with anything else? So
I love that. Such a great point. And for those of us that really do desire to help, that's a really awkward 2 or 3 hours. Because you're thinking about it, aren't you? You're like, I really want to help them. I know I can help them in 3 seconds or less. And you're right, Patty. They often end up developing the skill set to be able to do it for themselves. As a coach or as a leader, our jobs, and by the way, we all coach, we all lead, whether that's other agents or if that's leaders or if that's clients, we all are coaching and leading them. If you empower them, like Patty said, now I don't expect our clients to just go find out all the answers on their own. That's why we get paid. You see my point though, you don't always need to respond right in the moment. My job as a coach is to allow and to develop people's critical thinking, to allow them to self-discover and then go be able to handle things on their own, because otherwise they're becoming dependent upon me, and that's not a place I want to be as a coach. Not at all. Appreciate you sharing that, Patty. That's awesome. Give you a couple examples that might spur some idea. Most of my team understands it's very difficult to reach me on Wednesday evenings between 5:30 and 8:30, because on my calendar is my date with my son. I have twin boys, and so we alternate weeks. I take one, my wife takes the other, and we alternate each week. And I am dead to the world pretty much between 5:30 and 8, at least on those days. There are other times where I do not respond to messages. And it's really hard. At the same time, I have not once had anybody ever come back and be extremely mad at me because I take nights off to go have dates with my son. There's someone in your world that gets mad at you because you don't respond and you're on a date with your wife, your significant other, your son, or doing something for yourself. They're not the right people for your world. They're just not. They'll at least understand. Maybe they were frustrated. They'll understand and they'll be okay with it. If they're really angry, okay. No, thank you. Remember, cup has to be full to pour into others. What else? I'm an open book, by the way. If you have questions, great. If not, no worries.
I love what you just said right now. Your cup has to be full and to fill others. Because my coach has been teaching me to ask more questions about other people when they come to you regarding things, right? And it's like, well, how's that working for you, right? So it's just digging deep. I like that a lot. That was good. That was worth this 45 minutes.
Good. I'm out. Leave them on a high note. No. So if I was to give you some pointers around that for everybody listening in, when you build out your calendar, You know, the One Thing workshop does this. I love that. In fact, it's where I learned it years ago now, 4 years ago or so now, is when you have a blank grid, just grab a blank grid of a calendar. Don't try to get all fancy with technology, because yes, everything I have is in my Google Calendar. Otherwise I would show up nowhere on time. It's all in there. And when I build out a calendar every single quarter, I have a blank grid, Monday through Sunday, all 24 hours, all blank, except for the boxes. The first thing I want you to put on your calendar is the single most important thing for you as a human. As a human, whether that is as a man, as a woman, as whatever, or a husband, a wife, a significant other, a father, whatever that is. And the first thing that went on my calendar was 5:30 to 8:30 on Wednesday nights. The second thing was my family time on Sunday from 9 to 1. Now, whenever I say that, I get usually a few kind of, what? He has to put family time on his calendar on Sunday? Yes. It doesn't mean I'm being less purposeful. For me, if anything, it means I'm being more purposeful. Because I am the guy that'll wake up on a Sunday and say, what project can I tackle today? What thing can I accomplish today? What business can I move forward today? And I have to stop and say, whoa, 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 whoa. Remember the purpose for all these things in the first place. That time's important. And then there's exercise, then there's reading, then I have it on my calendar, connection time, just personal connection time. My wife is on my calendar. I have it on my calendar every day. In fact, it just went off to text her, just something nice every single day. It started with one thing, and then it's expanded out into a bunch of things to keep that cup full. Now, the challenge is finding that counterbalance. Patty was talking about earlier, that counterbalance. I have a tendency, and some of you know this, to swing really fast and really far from one side to another. All in, or let's just not do it at all. And I'm working on finding that, how quickly can I move in the middle? It's when you start putting too much stuff on your calendar that's just for you that you're becoming selfish and not taking care of your responsibilities or the things that you say you desire. That's okay for a short period of time. Some of us all need that. A partner of mine told me this morning that she felt ashamed getting on our coaching call today because she slept till 11 o'clock yesterday. I said, why in the world would you feel bad about that? And her response made me open my eyes a little bit, because I know you thrive on 5 hours of sleep and you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I said, who cares? I'm different than you. You needed it. You needed to fill back that cup. You needed the reset button. By the way, I took a nap yesterday, so don't feel so damn bad. It's okay. It's okay. What's most important to you as a human to keep you moving forward? And then the second part of your calendar is, what are the obligations and commitments around your business? And I'm not talking about lead generation. I'm talking about development and growth, team meetings, coaching calls, whatever those things are for you in your world. Coaching others, being coached by others, having these team meetings. Those are obligations, they're commitments in a positive way that allow you to think differently, grow, expand, so that way you can operate in the third piece a lot better. And the third piece is, what are the activities I'm going to perform to move myself and my business forward? If you can visualize this, that's a big 24-hour, 7-day calendar. It's just splotted with things personally and things professionally, because those are all scheduled in. What I want you to then look at is, what's the time I'm going to start my business day, and what's the time I intend to end it? When I say business day, I really mean job. Mine is 8:05 to 5 p.m. That's my standard operating hours for my job inside my own business. That's when the employee shows up and does the work. The employee is given a task by the owner, which is also me. I'm a little bit schizophrenic. And so I put in place, here's the plan for you, employee. You show up at 8:05 and you do these activities. By the end of the day, I expect these things done. And then at the end of the day, he hands the baton back to me and says, here you go, boss. And I say, great job, Michael. And I have a conversation for 5 minutes with myself. And then the boss goes back to work and he does all the cleanup. He does all the planning. He does all the stuff that makes the business run. Yeah, some of you just got a peek inside this thing up here.
And there's days you fired yourself, I'm sure, and said,
Oh my
try
gosh.
better, try again later.
Yes, there are some days I slap the employee around, which don't ever do if you have an actual different employee. It's okay if it's yourself. Because the employee's job is to show up and just do the work. And those things should be relatively simple. So Eli, I'm going to pick on you. You don't have to even respond, although I'm just looking at you on the screen. If Eli, as the boss, says, my vision is X, Y, Z, and I, as the employee's job, is to show up at this time and do these activities, the boss's job is to make that so crystal clear for Eli, the employee, that Eli just needs to show up and say, yep, let's do this. I dial that phone number, I send that text, I send this email, I get face-to-face with this person, and I just move my way. 5 o'clock bell rings, I'm going, whoop, okay. I've done the stuff that's important for me to move this business forward. Now I get to go back and do the stuff that I want, what I need. And that could be more about the planning, the projection, the vision, the mission, all those types of things. That's the only way it's worked for me. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine, find your own way. I have to play 2 different parts in my own play. Any other questions or anything else? Again, I could go for hours on this.
That was
I
amazing.
don't want that.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to keep you on the calendar once a quarter. So I really appreciate your passion. Your
Oh, my
passion
pleasure.
is just amazing. Does anybody have any questions for Michael? Anybody? Anybody? Michael, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day.
Anytime. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me, everybody. Enjoy your 7th of, it's not September, it's July. So enjoy your 7th of September. I think it's the 6th, man. I'm still off by a day.
Everybody stay on here.
Job.
Awesome. Thanks,
All right, bye,
Michael.
all. Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You guys, let's talk about listings before we sign off here. Any new listings coming up that we should be chatting about? Because I know it's crazy, you guys. July is already booked to be a crazy month for you all. So congratulations. This is going to be, yeah, it's going to be, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's going to be exhilarating. Let me just tell you, because the reports are in. Yeah, the numbers of everything that we've already have booked is superseding last year and the year before. So we're doing something right. So, and I cannot believe it's during this time. So congratulations to all of y'all. So let's talk about listings. What's going on?
I have 2 that came on Friday. Oh,
I can't hear you.
I'm muted.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know who was talking.
Okay. We have two that came on Friday.
Awesome.
In Lodi, 2912 Mosswood. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It's listed at $450, 1953 square feet. And then 1028 South Lee Avenue in Lodi. Cute, cute, cute. It'd be an awesome Airbnb, VRBO type thing. Cute front porch. It's a 4-bedroom, 2 baths, and a toilet in the garage. And it has two laundry rooms, one inside and one in the garage. Clawfoot tub, totally redone. Granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, darling. And that one's at $420.
And then a lot of land. Elk Grove.
And then I also have a lot. It's a 1.32 acres, Eli in Elk Grove, in the Laguna Trails neighborhood, just walking distance to Old Town. It's on the water. It's the only lot left in that neighborhood, and it's listed at $355. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you
And
so
can I pass on something?
Yes.
There's a new Twitter. Does everybody know about that, or am I late to the party? It's called Parler, Parler. It is pronounced parlay, but it's a conservative version of Twitter.
Hey, spell it one more time, please.
PARLER.com. And so there's like 1.5 million users right now, but I expect it to take off since Twitter's doing a lot of shadow banning and stuff like that. They said they will not ban or shadow ban anyone. So I've already hit it up, put my book on there, and so just trying to get some traction for that, and we'll start doing advertising there too. I mean, what the heck, right?
Right. So,
I love it everywhere you can.
I agree. Thank you so much for sharing. Eli, I actually put the link inside the chat, so you guys take a look at that. So thank you so much, Eli. I appreciate it. And
I'll get on command and see if they can put that on our command too, so we can link to.
That's awesome. That's what's so cool about commands, is that you can, have leverage like that. So that's good. Anybody else? Listings? Who wants to chime in? What activities are we doing right now? Because obviously there's business out there, and it's happening. It is happening.
One of the things I'm doing is I'm getting a CMA, at least from 1 or 2 clients every day, that past clients or clients in my sphere that have that they own their own home. And I'm doing a CMA cloud in MLS where it has the link, and I'm emailing it to them, because a lot of people are having that conversation right now about their value of their home, just to spark more conversation. And I've definitely, Like I have an appointment with 2 this week in the area that came from that. And all I did was spark a convo. I put in there, I'm like, hey, Michael, I know you're really not thinking, maybe you're not thinking about selling right now, but you might be curious about the value of your home. Here's a little link to show you what I think it could be worth. And, you know, let me know if you want to chat. Something super simple, 2 or 3 sentences tops. Send them that CMA link. It's really cool. If you haven't done the CMA cloud with the link, it's really cool. Who has done that, by the way? Has anybody done that? Yeah, it's really neat the way it looks. Eventually, I'll get better and better at command, and I'll be sending that too. But for now, that's what I've been doing, and it sparks conversation because it's a great time to sell, of course, as we all know, with inventory so low. So,
that's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that for sharing. I think we should all take advantage of that and take advantage of command too, because you can send that link. You do that, right? Hall said so. You guys send the link out off of command into your database. The I won't call it neighborhood watch, but that's not what it is. The I know I said
snapshot. No, it's neighborhood, right?
The neighborhood nurture.
Nurture. Yeah.
Yeah, I have everybody set up on that. I do this in addition. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Right. So that's good. That's very, very good. I had a couple of agents who are at a different company who I'm recruiting, starting to send me stuff from what they do. I'm like, I'm gonna send that to Zach because Zach can, you know, diagnose it a little bit more than me. But yeah. So great. Anybody else? Danny, what's going on in your world? Besides, I caught you with your mouth full. I'm so sorry. Patty, what's going on in your world?
As far as business?
Yes, you're busy, sister.
You know, my referral partners, just letting them all know. And that when I say referral partners, I mean lenders, I mean real estate agents outside of my area. I mean, anybody who has sent me business in the past, letting them know, hey, I'm working through this COVID environment and I am available to help people buy and sell and do it safely. That's really kind of my tagline right now is buy and sell and do it safely.
I love it.
And I'm working within the environment, and just them knowing that has brought me referrals. So I'm not doing more than that, to be quite honest. I'm not doing any ads. I'm not doing any outward. Because for me personally, I'm keeping a big balance. I am keeping my family safe, and I am not trying to have, though I am meeting my goals, I'm not trying to overdo it, because most importantly, I need to stay safe for everyone else that I'm involved with. So it does mean a little more downtime, a little more quarantine time to make sure that I'm healthy and strong before I expose myself to the community.
I think that's smart. What I like is that you're not spiraling, right? And there are some agents who are still kind of freaking out, and you know, it's like the activities you do today are going to show up 60 to 90 days from now. So you have a choice. You have a choice of how you're going to wake up. You have a choice of what you're going to do.
Yes. And I still love my job. Absolutely love my job. So I'm not checking out, and I'm not going to do anything else. I just have to refocus on my goals, refocus on my price point to ensure that I'm still making the money I need to make for myself and my family.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. Thank you. Anybody else want to chime in before we head on out to get more listings or buyers? Or it's 11:59 and I want to respect your time. Danny.
I will say real quick. So I will say real quick that what I've been focusing on is leads more organically. So I have been focusing on not only the buyers and sellers that I have right now, but also a business referral network that I have now became a director of. So for the Manteca Group. So I'm super excited. It's a huge opportunity to where it's generating organic leads, just business to business, and focusing with that to where it's just Zoom meetings, one-on-one. And it's been going really great. So I'm super excited.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I love the excitement in your voice too. So that's cool. It's passion, baby. I love it.
Besides my dog trying to take me out right now, but yeah.
But they're gonna bring it up because hey, right? This is home. This is reality. Yeah. Oh yeah. I was on a Zoom call and my dog just like thought he was gonna jump on my desk, and he pretty much did. And I was like, so embarrassed right now, but that's okay. You know? He's like checking things out. He's a beagle, not as big as yours. So yes. All right. Anybody else want to share a little bit?
We have a couple more listings we forgot about. They're not on the market yet, but we have 2939 Fairbury Lane.
Yeah.
That's a 32,000 square feet. Still working, and that's in Stockton, working on the price. So we'll keep you guys updated with that. And then 97 West Adams, that's in Stockton. That's a 3-1, 1,400 square feet. We're looking in the 300s. Yeah, near Miracle Mile. Motivated seller, it's going to be a contingent. And then we also have 8355 Soul Court, and that's a 4-2, 1668 square feet, and that's in Stockton, and we're looking in the 300s as well.
And that one's totally redone.
Yep.
Awesome. Any more? Uh-huh.
I got a listing coming up in Tracy. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It's 2-story, does need some TLC, but lots of potential, great neighborhood. So I will let you know about price once we finish cleaning up a little bit on it. But that should be coming up probably within the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Anybody want to talk about what activities they're doing right now to generate leads, to generate escrows, to generate transactions, to generate, I don't know, a paycheck? What are you doing? I know we're lead generating. I see it out there because it's happening. I love the script classes that Eli's doing on Zoom and Facebook Live. Okay, and we can always buy a book.
That's our lead gen right there.
Or you write a book, and this gives you a reason to contact people.
Okay, there's a good reason. I love it.
I'm on it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, then also, Oscar's doing Tuesdays and Thursdays a lead generating too, right? So have you guys seen that email? Jump on. I mean, from my understanding, it went really, really well last week. More people have been jumping on, so that's good. I like to see that. All right, you guys, anything? Oh, wait, Christy Love kind of sent something here. Let me see. Oh, there was a question. Soul Court or?
Soul, but SOL Court.
Like sun.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Spanish, sol.
See.
Got it.
Hi, everybody. Got to jump on another meeting.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for taking the time. We'll see you.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.